Okay, so today we're gonna start what do economists study actually, okay? I think here this is our today topic and we will discuss this thing. Clear? Okay. So you may never have studied economics before, and yet when you open a newspaper, what do you read? A report from our economics correspondent, right? If you turn on the television news, and what do you see? An item on a state of economy. Clears. Whenever you talk to friends, and often the topic would turn to the price of this or and that product, or whether you have to got some enough money to afford to do this or that. So the fact is that economic affects our daily lives continually. We are being made aware of local, national, international economic problems, and again continually we are faced with economic problem and decision of our own. So just what is economic about, and what is the subject you are embarking on? No doubt there's some, so you fear, but we clear it now. So many people think that economics is about money. Well, to some extent this is true, but economics is a lot to do with money, with how much money people are fed, how much they spend, what it costs to buy which item, and how much money firm on. How much money there is in the total economy. But despite a large number of areas in which our lives are concerned with the money, economics is more than just the study of money. The first concern is here is the production. What does production means? If you see the definition here is basically production is the transformation of inputs into output by firms in order to earn profit or to meet some other objective. What does it mean? It means that there you have input and the firm transform this input into output, and the purpose of this transformation is to get profit or maybe some other objective. Clear? So the production of goods and services, we mean that how much the economy produces in total, what particular combination of goods and services, how much each firm produce, what technique of production they use, how many people they employ, and blah blah blah. From consumption of goods, we have here, if you see the definition, that consumption is actually the act of using goods and services to satisfy wants, and this will normally involve the purchasing of goods and services. Consumption means that you're purchasing something, you're purchasing goods and services, and why you're purchasing goods and services? Because you want to satisfy your wants. So the consumption of goods and services, we mean that how much the population as a whole spends and how much it saves, and what the pattern of consumption is in the economy, and how much people buy of a particular item, what particular individual choose to buy, and how people consumption is affected by price, advertising, fashion, and other factors. So the two things we have studied here, the first one is production, the second one is consumption. Production is the transformation of inputs into outputs by a firm to get some profit or to meet some other objective. Well, consumption is the act of using, mean purchasing goods and services. And why you purchasing goods and services? Because you want to satisfy wants. So but we still have not quite got to the bottom of what economics is about. what are the crucial ingredient for the problem to be an economic one is the answer that is one-centered problem faced by all individuals and all societies. So from this one problem stem all the other economic problem we shall looking in the upcoming videos. So this central economic problem is the problem of scarcity, and we know all the scarcity. We will discuss this later, but there's a proper definition. We will discuss that. But before we're gonna discuss that, we have to understand that if you ask people, they will like more money, right? But most of the people want money, but they want more money so that they can buy more goods and services, and this applies not only to poor people but also to most wealthy people too. So the point is that human wants are virtually unlimited, clear, and yet the means of fulfilling, the resources of fulfilling the human wants are limited, so that causes scarcity. Now before we're gonna discuss the scarcity properly, we have to dig out the resources which we call factor production, and you could also call it resources. Okay, so the factor productions, what does it mean? It means the input into the production of goods and services, labors, land and raw materials, and capital. Okay, these are the factor production, or you may call it resources. So these resources and or factor productions, as they are often called, of three broad types, three broad, you can say, like the first one is labors, and this is the human resources. Clear? Here if you see the definitions, that labor, what does labor means? So all form of human inputs, both physicals and mental, into the current production, then we call that labor. Clear? And this is actually the input, and we have discussed the definition of production, that the transformation of input into output. So this is the first input, you may say, like labor. And what does labor means? That all form of human input, all form of human input, it includes both physical and mental into the current production, then we call that labor. Okay, and this is the first factor of production. The second factor of production we have here is land and raw materials. So input into production that are provided by the nature, these input have been provided by nature, like land is provided by nature, and some other stuff like deposit. Okay, the third one, factor of production, is capital, and all input into the productions that have themselves been produced, means the capitals are those input which have been produced first and then they are used for the production, and like machinery capitals. So human resources include labors, and the labor force is limited both in the number and in skills. Okay, so this is the first one that we already discussed, that this is the human wants is unlimited but the resources are limited. So the first resource, which is labor, and this is limited. Okay, the second is the natural resources. If I write here, the labor is the human resources. Okay, and this is labors are limited both in numbers and scale. The second one is land, and this is the natural resource. Okay, and you know that land and raw materials, so the word land is limited is raw material also. And the third one is capital, and you can also call this is the manufactured resources. Okay, because they have been manufactured. First they have been manufactured and then used for the production. So capital consists of all those input that themselves have had to be produced in the first place, and then the world has a limited stock of capital. So a limited supply of factories, machines, transportation and other equipment. So the productivity of the capital is limited by the state of technology. So here's the reason of scarcity. Okay, is a reason of scarcity. That what is the reason of scarcity? So human wants are virtually unlimited, clear, and where the resources available to satisfy these wants are limited. So we can thus define scarcity as the excess of human wants. Okay, this is the excess of human wants. Excess of human wants over what can actually produce to fulfill these wants. So this is the difference between the human wants and the actual production to meet the objectives of the human wants. Okay, so for today we have discussed the three basic things. And if I start from here, first we have discussed production, that what does production means. Then we have studied consumptions, and then we have built our lecture then onward that is the factor of productions. And the factor of production we have discussed that we have labors, which are the human resources, and then we have land, and then raw material that we call a natural resources, and then capital that we call a manufactured resources. All these resources are limited by natures, and that cause scarcity. Clear? And the scarcity we means that the excess of wants, human wants, over the factor of production or resources or actual production that cause a scarcity. So for today this is enough. We have to be continue in the next lecture the further the demand and supply, macroeconomics, aggregate demand, aggregate supply, and microeconomic definition further on. Okay, thanks for watching.